Welcome back, guys. I'm Zell, and we're doing another Drinkin' and Thinkin' with Zell. So, you got about 9 seconds to get your drink of choice, or you can hit the pause button, and today we're talking about blade steel. Alright guys, blade steel. What is your favorite blade steel? I'm going to tell you what mine are. I'm going to give you 4 of them that are my favorite blade steels. I'm going to explain to you why they're my favorite blade steels, and I'd like to hear the same from you down there in the comments. So, first up, D2 has become one of my favorite blade steels. One, because it really is kind of a premium blade steel. It does things that the budget steels won't do, but we're getting it in budget knives. I saw the Avispa and Zancudo was available in D2 just earlier today. One of you subscribers tipped me off. Thank you. Don't remember who it was. Sorry about that, but somebody did tip me off, and I appreciate that. But it's very good steel, and we're able to get it in budget knives, and that is really, really going to change the industry. You know, going along with that, I guess I'm going to do 5. So going along with that, we've got S35VN. S35VN is changing the industry as well. It's available in knives as cheap as 60 bucks. I think this thing was $62 the other day over on Blade HQ. Kaiser's using it in a lot of knives, and so are a lot of other companies. And it's not exclusive to that $300 and $400 knife category anymore. And it's not my favorite steel to use, but it is way far and above the 8CR13 MOV and the AUS 8 and even some of the production 440C. And guys, I keep saying production 440C whenever I say 440C because I have sampled some custom 440C that's been heat treated by an individual, and 440C with a custom heat treat is a whole different animal than what you're getting out of the production world right now. It's much closer and even better than the 440C we had back in the late 70s and the 80s. It's a pretty good product. Now, production 440C isn't at the same hardness and doesn't seem to have the same wear resistance, and it's just a softer steel. Still very good steel, but kind of soft. So that's why I always say production whenever I hook it to 440C. Anyhow, S35VN. Because of the way it's being used and the price points it's hitting, it has become kind of a favorite, even though in use it's not a favorite. From there, you guys know, ZDP 189. This stuff became one of my favorites quickly, and I'm willing to pay for this stuff. The reason it became one of my favorites quickly is because it holds its edge, the fine edge, the very, very sharp edge, for a very long time. I have a Dragonfly down here that I use for layout and cutting out of soft materials, and I've sharpened it once. Stropped it a few times since then, and I'm probably not going to have to sharpen this thing for quite some time. So I really, really like the ZDP 189. And moving on along, CTS XHP. They market this stuff as D2 only better, a powdered version of D2. And it is a wonderful steel. Again, at some very reasonable prices quite often. This knife sells for way under $100 most of the time. And it's got a big old slab of CTS XHP in it. And then you get to the other end, and you've got the Techno. And the Techno's got a big old slab of CTS XHP, or no, it's not really well, yeah, it's thicker than heck. 0.17 something thickness of 4.5 millimeters. So it's a pretty big slab of CTS XHP as well. But it's 180 something bucks. So it's still a favorite steel though. It sharpens up really nice, holds an edge really, really well, and it even polishes up nice. And then probably my favorite is M390. This stuff is just a great balance of everything. Edge retention, wear resistance, stain resistance, and it's just beautiful steel. I really, really like M390. Yeah, and I hear you out there. You're saying that, well, all those steels are high-end stuff. Well, there's one more. Kershaw's, I believe it's 14C28N Sandvik steel. I used this stuff for many, many years for a couple of reasons. One, the steel is good. Holds an edge for a reasonable amount of time. If you bang the edge off of something hard, it's okay. You can sharpen it back out fairly easy. It's not a catastrophe. It's not like D2 and you get a big chunk out of D2 and have to try to fix that. Yeah, that's a bad day. And the other part was, I was using Kershaw leaks for the most part, and they were readily accessible and fairly inexpensive and had a good steel in them. So it doesn't always have to be a high-end steel to be your favorite. Sometimes some of those lower-end steels will be your favorites. If you're an outdoors person that stays out in the wilderness for more than a couple of days, something like AUS-8 may be your favorite. Anyhow, enough talk about that. We're going to move along to the stuff the Apostle P sent me for winning that contest. And if you have not subscribed or watched the Apostle P channel, I'll have a link to it in the description. Get over there and watch it. And I won because I was one of the people that nominated Fun with Knives. And if you haven't watched Fun with Knives channel, get over there. The link will be down there in the description. He's got a very interesting channel. Young guy that's doing some cool stuff. You're going to want to see it. So anyhow, let's get in. Let's look at these things that the Apostle P sent along. And this is the stuff the Apostle P sent me. A case sod buster. I haven't seen one of these in years. And they're still fingerprint magnets, of course. With a nice Apostle P edge on it. And a Rat 1 with the carbon fiber laminate over G10. Doesn't look like Rob even carried this thing, but it does have a nice edge on it, which was really cool, and I really appreciate Rob putting on the contest. Congratulations to all the winners, and it was just a really cool deal. And, you know, I now have this thing going on. I've got a carbon fiber rat in D2. If the light's gonna be a little bright there. Limited edition. I've got a limited edition in orange. And we have our Brazilian rosewood rat in D2. These two wearing very sharp edges. This one's still stock. I'd never sharpened it. It's wearing the stock edge from Ontario Knife Company because I just kind of put it away. So I think maybe I've got things a little off kilter here. I've got 3 D2 rats, and there's people out there been waiting on them for a while. So we are coming close to the 1-year anniversary of this channel being live, and one of these 3 knives will be in a giveaway coming up soon. I haven't decided which one yet. If you guys have a preference, put it down in the comments, and I'll make a decision whenever I go to do the giveaway, and I'll take the comments into consideration. And also, Rob sent me an Apostle P sticker, which, really cool, Rob. Thank you. Congratulations, Fun with Knives, for winning. And it was really cool to be picked as a winner too. Anyhow, that's the stuff I got from the Apostle P. We'll be looking at this sod buster sometime soon, and I'll give you a closer look at the carbon fiber model here, but we may do a quick review over this one just so that everyone can see it. Just anyhow, back out to the desk. All right, so one more time, Rob, thanks again for choosing me as a winner for your contest. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to go visit Fun with Knives. He's got some cool stuff over there. And our second subject, still on steel, price. Are you willing to pay for the premium steel or the step up in steel? If you go to Benchmade's configurator for the Griptilian, you can choose 154 cms, the base steel for the knife, the standard steel. Or you can get D2. Or I believe it's S30V. And there's one more and I don't remember what it was. But anyhow, each time you take a step up, it's another $10 or $15 as you move up from the base knife. Is it worth it to spend that extra money over the base steel? Is it worth it to do what I used to do and skip the Chinese Kershaws with their 8CR13 MOV and spend an extra $5 or $10, sometimes $20, and get a US made Kershaw to get that Sandvik steel? For me, it is. Most of the stuff I do with the knives on the table anymore is layout work, cutting things, and yeah, I know I could do it with an X-Acto knife, but I am just a little bitty skinny X-Acto knife doesn't work for me. And I do it generally with this Dragonfly wherever he went. But it's generally with the Dragonfly, and that ZDP 189 there has paid dividends. And that's part of the equation. The difference between the standard Dragonfly and the ZDP 189 Dragonfly is pretty vast. It's more than $20, I think. But whenever this thing arrived, I sharpened it once. Got it down to a nice mirror edge with a nice micro bevel, and it's sharp. I did that several months ago. I won't sharpen this knife again for who knows. Generally just marking stuff and doing a little cutting of soft materials. You know, this thing's going to stay sharp for a long, long time. Now, if I had got the VG10 version, the fact that I cut some of those soft materials on harder materials like wood or some sort of ceramic, I would probably be sharpening that VG10 knife once every few weeks. So the 20 or even 40, whatever I gave price difference for this ZDP 189 model has saved me money in the long run. Saved me time, and time is money, so it's saved me money. Now, if you're not doing stuff like that, if you're just, you know, need a knife to carry for work or whatever you do, is it worth it to have that better blade steel? Well, if you use your knife every day, several times a day, it may be just so that it stays sharp all day. If not, and you have the time, it may not be worth it. And I keep saying time because time is the key factor here. Your 8CR13 MOV and your AUS 8 are going to take attention. And whenever I say attention, you're going to have to be stropping that stuff regularly. You're going to have to be sharpening it fairly regularly, of course, depending upon how much you use it. And as you move up in blade steel, if we ignore the stuff like H1, and we're talking about your standard tool steels and stainless steels, as you move up in blade steel, generally, the less often you have to sharpen it. And the less often you have to strop it, the longer it will hold an edge between those things. And that's your time and your money. Now, if you've got time and don't have money, then you get the lesser expensive knife and you use some of your time to keep it sharp. Yeah, and that's fine. You know, I've been there, I've done that. But the question I have is, are those steels worth it? Anyhow, guys, what's your opinion? Where do you fall on this? Let me know. Down in the comments, you know, keep it civil, but what is your favorite blade steel and why? And is it worth it to you to spend the extra money to get the higher end steel whenever you're buying a pocket knife? Anyhow, guys, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe over at Todd Knife and Tool as well. We're going to be giving this guy away here very soon. And you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.